Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Dee Reinhardt. I am with Illinois WorkNet, and I am providing your technical assistance session today. I'm sorry, it's a training session on our Navigator system. Hope everybody is having a great day and you are bracing yourselves for the weather that's supposed to be coming through this afternoon and this evening. I'm going to start out right away with a PowerPoint presentation. If you did not notice it, I did post last week's video and presentation to the partner page. I'll show you where the partner page is before we leave the meeting today. We are going to be talking about the Navigator system on the iWis system. And it is, just one moment, I have to tell everybody that we are in Zoom. Okay, all right, so iWis stands for the Illinois Workforce Integration System. And this is what some of you that have been around for a long time may know as the Customer Support Center, but it is one of those pieces that we are upgrading to be able to show some new information as well. For Apprenticeship Illinois, this is the same kind of agenda that we had the last time. We had initial implementation in 2019 for that grant. We switched over to the iWis system. We are going agile with the 2021 grant, and then we'll have a demonstration. We, in early 2020, we were using manual tracking process. In August 2020, we released the iWis system. We submitted our first Department of Labor WIPS report in February of 2021, and we are now implementing with this new grant the a work plan initial input along with quarterly reports and our Navigator tools. The process, my goodness. Our process is to allow for transparency and integration. So with the iWis system, we have all of our tools available in dashboard form. We can document, we can show engagements, and this is the one piece that the Navigator tool is going to help with. It's going to allow the navigators across the state to interact and show who's being undervalued or undertouched in the business community. So we do have some Navigator tools that are available. We have some organizational information. We have some capacity building information that we'll be inputting. And then we have a tracking of our engagement. We can enter outreach events. I'll show you how to do some of that. I may ask some of you guys for some information. My brain is a little fried right now, and so adding some test stuff might be a little hard on my brain today. But we do have the ability to create outreach events and track those so that everybody can see what's going on. We do have some organizational information. We can add organizations. It will check our system to see if they're already in and then pull in that information. We do have the EBS tool available as well within the iWis system, and we're going to try to cross-reference the information between the iWis for Apprenticeship Illinois as well as the EBS system. Engagements, you can add what you're doing to be able to track that information for apprenticeships across the state of Illinois. We have a list of resources available. We're trying to put them all in one place so that in case you find a resource that you think should be added to this list, please send that information to me. I'm going to put my email address in the chat so that if you find a resource that you would like to share, if you have a question, I'm available to help support your growth with using this system. We have training tools available for you. We do have the partner page. I'll show you that. We have the LMS system that is sponsored or housed in ISU, Illinois State University. And then we have all of our documentation available to you. If you're looking for the most latest instructions, they are on the partner page. Again, the system is designed for integration and developing a whole tool so that you can see where it's going from point A to point B. We have dashboards and reporting. You can use those tools. The one dashboard may be more for the intermediaries to use, but then when we come into the work plans, that information may be better suited to the navigators. It just depends on what your purpose is and what you're going to be doing in the system. And then the work plan, we're going to cover this. This is going to be digitized for you, yay! Where before you had to put everything in an Excel spreadsheet and submit that, we're going to have you, I believe you still have to do that for it to be approved, but then we will be entering it in the system and it will be allowing you to have that initial data there and then have it compared to the quarterly reporting. So now we're going to do a demonstration. I'm going to start out with the Navigator tools, and then we'll switch over to the work plan and reports. And just before I go away from the PowerPoint presentation, which will be posted on the partner page, we have some information available for you for Illinois WorkNet for you to follow, like, and share. If you have questions during the demonstration, please type them in the chat or else open up your microphone and let me know what it is that you have a question about. Let me minimize this. Let me maximize that. Say hi to Lucy, everybody. This is I'm logged into as test. And this all is fake information. Some of it may look real because we did use some real companies to enter the information. When you log into your Illinois WorkNet account, you will go to the iWIS tool. You can access the Apprenticeship Illinois customers and listing dashboard from the dashboards. When you click into one of the numbers, it will take you to a screen. So I'm going to click on these numbers. It will take you to a screen. You can also access this list from your groups page by clicking on your Apprenticeship Illinois group. And I know that many of you may have other programs that you're using within the system here. So you just have to make sure that you're clicking the apprenticeship group on your listing. I am going to be adding the new users to the tools later this week. One of the programmers is adding them to the back end of the system, and then I will be adding at least one user. I do have a list that I received from Chase. I will be adding at least one user from your organization so that you can then add additional users. Kathy, you typed my name. Did you want to ask a question? Open up your mic, Kathy.
Yeah, so I know this training is for transparency, but are these tools that intermediaries can access, or would this be closed to us?
The work plan and reports will be available for everyone. The Navigator tools will more than likely be available to everyone because there may be some business contacts that you create as an intermediary. So I don't see why you wouldn't be able to do that. Let me double
Thank you.
check one thing. Cody, can you answer Kathy's question for me? Will the intermediaries have access to the Navigator tools?
Yes, I believe so. I don't have that, limited right now, but that might be something we want to check with the team on.
Okay, we'll check on that one. We will. I don't know if you all could hear Cody, but it sounded like his microphone was being a little creative. So we'll check on that and see for sure. Okay, so once you're in your customer group where all of your customers show up, you can add a customer, all that kind of good stuff. We have our Navigator tools, and this is the overview page. Kim, would you like to ask a question or make a comment?
I just wanted to make a quick comment in regards to what Kathy was saying. What you all are seeing here today is the rollout of the work that the navigators have been working on for the past year. Many of these are tools and resources that they've been manually performing, and here it's going to be all on the dashboard. In regards to sharing that information, it is supposed to be as transparent as possible. We will have to look at a couple of fields though. The navigators are serving as conveners as part of the talent pipeline, and they will be working with some confidential information that will not be available to you directly, but I'm sure the collaboration between the intermediaries and the navigators is going to be a strong partnership, and we'll be able to share some of that information back and forth.
Thank you, Kim.
Thank you. I could really see the value in the tools.
Mm-hmm.
Dee, it's Cody. Can you hear me better now?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, if you have any other questions, let me know.
All right, thank you. Thanks for fixing your mic.
You're welcome.
All right, so on this first page, we do have some numbers that will be added, and you can just barely see there's a 0 in here. So that means that some information has not been added yet. We have some funding available. We have outreach. All of this information can be viewed either as a chart once the data has been entered, or as a list view, which I believe this one is the list view. And then we have reporting guidelines and definitions that will be here. Now, this is still in development phase. We anticipate that this will be, we're anticipating mid-March to late March for release of this, because we still have to do some testing, and we have to do some DOL reporting that requires some time taken away from the completion of the development. So we will have this on a TA session once it does, or once it is ready to go live, so that we will show the information more directly. We do have some filters. Once some information is entered, you'll be able to filter by industry. So there's a whole lot of resources here. You can filter by navigator. So once we get the navigators entered, we'll be able to do that as well. Here's the resource list. Again, if you have any resources that you've been using, this is the list that we have gotten from the work group right now. We have some tools. I can see how the resources would be available to everybody. The actual company information may be view only. Outreach events. I added one as I was trying to test to do some stuff here. So you can select a navigator. I'm going to enter one for you right now. So it's super simple. What was this? I'm going to put chamber. I'm going to put chamber event. Oh my goodness, my fingers. What's the audience type? It was business engagement. Who was the audience? It was a chamber lunch and learn. And there were 42 people there. And then I can add a follow-up note. And so this will be two-way communication in person. Today, it was today's date. Subject. Oh my. Nobody said you had to type it right. And I'm going to save this as a case note. Whenever you're writing a case note, you want to make sure that somebody's going to understand what it is that you typed so that they can follow up and read and review. So if you've got something that you type on a regular basis, I always use the notepad tool to save regularly written comments. And we're going to save this. So we have 2 events here. You can click on this to then see the notes that were added in there. If you want to add an additional note, maybe you followed up with 5 of the people from that event. You got their business card and you can add those notes in there. If you want to see what you had written earlier, you can come in here and you can check that and make edits to it as well. All right, so then we're going to close this. We're going to move on to the organization information. Oh, and you can also export the information that you have added into the system as well. So that's always going to be useful if you need to just have a running list that you want to see. You'll be able to check that. All right, so I'm going to pick my organization again. I'm going to add an organization. So Jennifer, give me an organization to add.
Cognizant.
Say what?
Cognizant.
And what type of organization is it?
They're a consulting firm.
So is that
It's
employer?
a employer, yes.
All right, and how many employees do they have? Small, medium, or large?
100 plus.
All right, and their address, we can make up one unless you know it.
I do not know it.
Do you know what town they're in at least?
They're in Chicago.
Okay, so
Well, they're
let's,
all over, but
let's
Chicago.
do 100 South Randolph Street. Oh wait, that's an East-West Street. So let's try East Randolph, Chicago. And it put the zip code in there for me. So I'm going to save that. And I'm going to click on it now. And it brings up a map for where the place is. It's a moving map. And then we have more information that we can add to that organization. So if we have their industry, so their consultants, so where are we going to put this? Administrative? No. Management company? Other services?
I think you could do information. Let's see.
Okay.
Yeah.
And FEEN, so FEEN number is like a social security number, except it's 2 digits and then 7. So I'm gonna make one up here and we're gonna do 58, 58, 58, 58, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 5. All right, so save. And you can see over here in the right-hand corner how it saves it. We can add organization contacts. So I can say Mary Jones, title, she's sales. Email Mary J at cognizant.com. Phone number, we'll do 773-773. And then we're going to save this. When do people needing access to workNet receive a login or credentials? It would be helpful to be able to go in after trainings and get familiar with the database. So Nate, what I mentioned earlier was that I have to have the organizations added to the system for the new organizations. And then I need to add an initial person. And then that initial person that I add will be shown how to do user management next Wednesday. And then you'll potentially have an account after Wednesday. It's always useful if you go to Illinois WorkNet and create an account if you don't already have one. Okay, so then we can view the organization information and or remove that person. If we're going to add a team member, these are people that are associated with your organization. So if I want to add Train 10 and I want to add somebody else, I can add Mark Ruffalo and I can close that. And then organization notes, I can add a note about what happened. So just like the note that I added about the event, I can add an outreach note here about that particular item. So let's see here. I'm going to do general. I'm going to do today's date. I'm going to do and just to save some time here, I'm going to click copy and paste and save it and save it. And so then this will be here. It is viewable and editable. So added.
No, case notes are not editable.
Well, then how come I can?
Where's your save button?
Oh, it's closed. Okay, so I can only do close. Thank you,
Yep.
Cody.
You're welcome. Yes, case notes, we like to keep a running list of what's going on.
All right, so we need to add a new one. Thank you for that, Cody. I was just so excited that I could add it. Okay. All right, so that is how you can keep track of information for that organization. Then we can do engagement, and engagement is the piece about the apprenticeships. So I'm going to add an apprenticeship. So we have some different apprenticeships in here. If I want to select an industry, then we can add those. If we need to do a new work site placement, we can add that there. But right now we're going to add Pepsi Mid-America. So we're going to select this. We can put in, okay, Cody, help me out here. This work site is different than what I was anticipating.
Yeah, so it's different than the worksite placement. So you select your work site and it needs to be discussed if we need to do work site and organization or just one of the other. For now, you can just pick an organization as well.
Okay.
But that needs to be discussed. I need to figure that one out still.
Okay. So we're building the ship here. So it's a new program. Related instruction provider is a required field. So we're gonna put,
That pulls from the list of training programs. So if you start typing, we should see.
okay, so let's do,
It is the list that we have on workNet that is the public and private and WIO approved training providers.
okay, so let's try.
That is not required right now because I need more information on that one as well.
Okay, and is there a mentorship associated with it? Is there a diversity plan associated with it? Do we have safety and supervision associated? Because if they're learning something, we want them to be safe. And is it paid work? So we save that. And then it will also show when we add the information into the system, it will show industry recognized credentials, the funding source, and other employer services that are associated. And I believe from seeing this, Cody, you still need to add some of the details for this.
Yes, these three categories are still in development. This is where kind of we stopped for the demo here, but there will be buttons to add your industry recognized credentials, your funding sources, and your employer services. There will be buttons off to the right, just like we had for the contacts and service team members and that type of thing.
So for example, if this was a welding program, they might be getting their AWS, they might be getting MIG welding or TIG welding. And so if they are able to get both, then you could add those credentials from AWS. Okay, so that for now, that is our organization information and our engagement information.
Dee, I would like to say there will be one more tab after engagement that will just be called case notes. And that will just show you a list of all the notes that you have added for your outreach events and organization so that you can easily see those all in one place.
Great. All right. So we will make sure that the instructions are updated once we have the tool, if more things get added as we go. Otherwise, we will start out with all of the instructions that include screenshots as well as click this, do this, and try to make it as useful for you as possible. Now I want to show you the work plan and reports. And this is also still in test. So one of the things that we can do, again, is to select our Navigator. I am thinking that we would be doing one annual report, but then we would be checking these quarterly to do your quarterly update. And when we are looking at our project, we can submit an initial plan. If we are moving through this as we go to review, so I'm going to go back here. If we click on this, we can review what we've already input. So it will, you can change this if you need to. So for example, if this particular project manager leaves, I can go in and pick a new project manager. And maybe I'm going to make it Mark here. Same thing with the reporting staff. I can pick from those users that are associated with that organization. Grant fiscal staff. All of these people do need to have an account in Illinois WorkNet. So we do recommend that each person have their own account rather than using one account for your organization and everybody logging in under it, because if something happens, we need to know who we need to coach as far as making changes properly. So we have Another person if needed, a project overview. This, I didn't type a whole lot in there, but you can copy and paste. And if you are on Chrome, this is expandable to accommodate a whole lot of words. And then within the project plan, we have activities. So if we're adding an activity, we can say, let's see what an activity is. Host a overview session. Who's responsible for that? When is it going to be? And what's the deliverable associated? Question for you guys. Is the deliverable longer or is the activity longer? Where do you need more space, or do you need as much space in both?
D, I would make them equal, simply because there might be additional activity descriptions that might be added, as well as the deliverables could be multiple deliverables. So if I was the navigator, I would want equal spaces in both of those to add as much information as I prefer.
Makes sense to me. That's what I kind of thought too.
I was gonna say the same thing.
So great minds think alike, right? All right, so we added another activity, program activities and outcome plan numbers. We have numbers that I entered the other day, and these projected numbers will stay in here. And this is what we can base our quarterly reporting against. So if you were in the middle of your grant to have a change in your projected numbers, you would come in here and update those projected numbers. We do have a number of required fields. They are indicated by the red asterisk. I always get confused about how to say that word. And then we have other fields down here that are not required, but will be useful if you are serving a particular audience. So for example, homeless or long-term unemployed or low income, you can enter that information in here. If you're dealing strictly with incumbent workers, because I think, Cindy, I think you guys deal with incumbent workers a lot.
Yes,
So
we
you would
do.
want to put a number in there. And then we have program activities, outcome plan numbers, capacity building. None of these are required, but it is very useful to have this information, and we would encourage you to enter as much of this as you can. So for example, number of outreach events that you plan to hold or attend, number of existing events. Once you have all of this entered in here, you can save. And then what will happen is the people that have the status to approve will come in and approve your plan. And once that's approved, then it can be reported. All right, so it looks like we got a consensus on the equal space for the activity and the description.
Dee, could you go back to the reporting section for a minute, please?
That's where I am. What would you like to see?
I want to see where the characteristics, ethnicity information that they would be reporting. Okay, so all of this information is information that the governor's office or the Department of Labor ask of us, since we are a grantee of theirs. And we also realize that some of this information is self-reporting. Some of it can be sensitive information. I'm wondering down when we're talking about the demographics and then the characteristics, should we add a field if we're tracking number to number? So we're trying to track apples to apples. Do we put a field in there that says non-reporting or something to show that we have 2 individuals that did not self-report? I'm throwing that out as a question.
Is that a reporting piece rather than a work plan piece?
Yeah, Kim. So this is Cody. This section here is just like Dee mentioned, kind of a plan so that we can compare, you know, if there's ever a I don't know if there's follow-ups or that type of thing. We do have that those options on the application for the customer to choose. But we did not have them here just because this is what the grantee might be planning to
Got it. Okay.
yeah, planning to do. But as you mentioned, we do have those prefer not to answer, prefer not to identify questions on the application for the customer.
All right. Thank you.
All right. So for right now, this is what we have available in test. As I said, the work plan, I don't want to say for sure, but we hope to have the work plan out because this is almost done. We hope to have the work plan out very quickly. And then the Navigator tools will follow a little bit further behind. So what sort of questions might you have for me that I can try to answer, that Cody can try to answer, or that we can take for further review? How do we access, whoops. How do we access the step-by-step manual? Oh, thank you. Is a new manual being sent out as updates are being made, or can we reference from the site? Yes, thank you. I was going to show you this. So on Illinois WorkNet for Apprenticeship Illinois partners, we have this resource available to you. And this is just available. And what I do on here is under the full list of resources, when we have an update to a document or to instructions, this page will be updated. The document will be updated on this page. So let me do a real quick review just in case you weren't here last week. This is the Apprenticeship Illinois Partner Guide. We have a link to the IWIS system, which is formerly the Customer Support Center. We have quick start guides for our customer facing or participant facing users. So we have other impacted individuals and fully case managed. We have our partner training materials and videos. This recording will be posted here as soon as I can get it loaded. And we'll have the PowerPoint listed here as well. As you can see, we have from the website session, we have that listed here, and we have the intermediary session listed here. If we have anything on our open office or technical assistance sessions, we will post those as well. The full list of resources is available, and this has PDF or web page links available. And remember that these are updated with any changes and are updated here. So we don't send out manuals. We only update the information on this page. So does that answer your question, Nate? We also have training videos available. We have a link to the learning management system that is housed on the ISU site. And that has additional information about apprenticeship in general, about the TPM, about, there's one section on how to use the system, but you'll get much more detailed information about how to use the system here. When changes are made to the resource page, I could, you don't have to sign up. Well, you do have to have an Illinois workNet account to be able to access the system, but you do not have to have it to access this page. What I could potentially do is talk to one of our programmers that put a flame on a page that had some updates. I can talk to him about maybe getting something put on here. But it may be difficult to show you what's been updated.
Yeah, like if there's any way for us to, hopefully in the future, like, sign up for like just a email trigger for like
Yeah,
when
we
you guys
won't,
do
we
updates.
won't send out emails. If we do anything, because we send out thousands of emails every month and it gets very expensive. So it would be on the page if we have any updates that get notifications about them. At one
Awesome.
point in time, I used to put a date when I updated it behind the document. I could probably start doing that again.
Okay. How often do you recommend just checking the resource page for updates? I just want to make sure, like, if there's any time frame you recommend not to fall behind on updates and things of that nature, once a month, twice a week, every day?
If you're attending our open office sessions and the TA calls, you'll be notified about changes that came out. The other page that we haven't gotten to yet is this Partner Tools Updates page. So you can check this page, and if you see a date with updated, you can pretty much assume that the instructions were updated. So this might be the page that you go to first to check to see if there's any updates.
Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome. And then Don from OAI said, is this tab to be used by intermediaries too? And I think you're talking about the Navigator tab. I think that's what this was in reference to. And if you missed the conversation that we had with Kathy Meisinger, oh, the work plan and report tab, yes. The Navigator tools may just be view only and may only be parts, but we have to work that out yet. We are new intermediary agency. Are we assigned a navigator or do we seek out the navigator working with us? Okay, that's a great question. And on the public page, on the public facing Apprenticeship Illinois page, we do have a spot where we have our navigators listed. So right now we have Kindy, and I think Kindy's on the call, and Nikel, are you on here? I don't see your name right now, but we have Nikel who covers LWIA 4. Emily is down south. Lee Reese is down south as well. And then Dirk Leffler is out west. So those are the navigators right now. We are missing 2 navigators, one retired and one left for greener pastures. So we will have this information available for you. You can connect with your navigator and then you can reach out. We hope to have you work as a partnership. Yes, Kim.
I want to jump in here real quick. We are updating this page to list all of the new navigators, and the goal is to have a navigator in each region. Do we currently have that? No. So if there isn't a navigator in your region, you can reach out to me, and my contact information is above the pictures of the navigators, and I can assist you. Once we have everything approved and ready to go, we'll send out an invite so we can have a video Zoom chat or a Teams call to introduce all of you that are in each of your teams. Now, a navigator can reach across different regions to assist if that is a particular need. So we also have our regional economic development teams that can also assist the intermediaries.
And I just put Kim's email address in the chat if you want to grab that. Kim is also the one that answers all of the reach out questions that might come in from all of the different pages.
And if I can jump in here once again, I am receiving 2 to 5 emails on a daily basis asking for apprenticeship assistance. Some of you, I've already started sending them out to. I will do an introduction of that job seeker and then turn it over to you so you can follow up and either help that. If you're a navigator, I will be sending you company requests. If you're an intermediary and if you are specializing, say, in the construction industry, I will be sending you that information as well. But I try to sort it out by zip code. So if the zip code is in Cook County, it's going to go to that direction. If it's someone that works, their specialty is construction, but they work with those who are formerly incarcerated, I'll be sending it to you. If you're in Central or wherever your location is, I will send it out accordingly. I'm not going to just send it to one intermediary to handle for the entire state. And so you'll see those emails starting to come through. And if you ever have any questions, you can always reach back out.
Thank you, Kim. All right, any other questions that we can answer for you? The one thing that you may want to do is go to illinoisworknet.com and sign up for an Illinois WorkNet account. If you do not already have one, it will be much easier for your organization to have your person added. If you already have an account, we'll be able to add you to your organization's group, and that will give you access to the tools that you will be able to use. All righty. Anything else that I can answer for you about our plans for the Navigator tools and the work plan? Well, we just saved everybody an hour that they can do something else. I know my day has just been swamped. I didn't think I was going to make it this far. So everybody have a great rest of your day. And if you happen to be up the path of the storm, be careful. All right. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, Dee.
Thank you.